Welcome back as we continue to push our way towards an hour of greatness. The Vanity Handicap will headline the Girl Power Hour right here on TVG. It's our Saturday Spotlight race featuring the unbeaten, the unbelievable Zenyatta and her Hall of Fame rider, Mike Smith. She is the one to beat. She's the one to watch every time she steps out on the track, and she'll look for her 11th consecutive victory today.
Yeah, she certainly is, and with a couple of scratches, 5 other fillies taking her on. All I can say is, wow, ran a decent race last time out, finishing 3rd, but was absolutely no match in the Milady Handicap right here at Hollywood Park.
And this is after all of the drama has taken place where Garrett Gomez aboard Life is Sweet did everything he was supposed to do to make things difficult for Zenyatta. But really, how do you stop this?
The lead to Zenyatta, who levels out and runs away, runs away, and makes it a perfect 10 for 10. Zenyatta!
Zenyatta scores, and that last time out after Life is Sweet tried to make some things happen, didn't work out. But all Life is Sweet did was challenge her and earn herself a spot in the Hollywood Gold Cup.
That's right. I mean, that'll be interesting to see what happens. That's a story for another time. But what if Zenyatta wins today and Life is Sweet wins the TVG Hollywood Gold Cup? Be interesting to see what Joan Sherris does further down the road. But as Patrick Biancone said earlier this week, there are 2 races: the Zenyatta's race and the rest of the field.
That's coming your way 2 races from now on the card at Hollywood Park. But before that, it's all about Rachel Alexandra in the next event on the card from Belmont. After this 8th race will be her performance today in the 10th, or 9th on the card rather, the Mother Goose. Good afternoon, and welcome to the track that Jack built. This track, Hollywood Park, opened up back in 1938, courtesy of the former head of Warner Brothers Film Corporation, Jack L. Warner. He may have built this track, but there's a mare that's changed everything and redecorated the winner's circle. Her name is Zenyatta. 5 of her 10 lifetime victories have come right here. She's looking to make it 11 for 11 as she comes out to defend her title in this running of the Grade 1 Vanity. She is the headliner in this Girl Power Hour, which also features the super filly, Rachel Alexandra, going for her 7th consecutive victory. Is she the one? We're going to find out right here as we get set to bring you all the action all across the country. I'm Ken Rudolph here from Hollywood Park. I now send you to my colleagues and my friends, Todd Schrupp and Simon Bray on the set here at Hollywood as we get set to bring you the best in racing. Guys?
And there can be no doubt, Ken, especially for those who follow horse racing, the 2 best horses in America, maybe anywhere in the world, are fillies, are female racehorses. Zenyatta is here, as you heard, with her undefeated streak on the line. And then there's Rachel Alexandra, who may be the better-known name to the general sporting public, who will be running in New York.
There's no question about that. Why? Because she competed in the Triple Crown and won the 2nd jewel of that Triple Crown in the Preakness, and that's what gets the general public involved. She'll be running in the Mother Goose a little later on at Belmont Park today, and then 18 minutes later, you'll get to see the undefeated Zenyatta here at Hollywood Park in the Vanity Handicap Grade 1 event.
There are only 2 rivals to Rachel Alexandra in the Mother Goose after the scratch of the 1, Hopeful Image, and after the scratch of the 2, Don't Forget Gil. And the reason there's a small field, the reputation of Rachel Alexandra. This race is restricted to 3-year-old fillies, such as the Kentucky Oaks. And when it comes to this division, 3-year-old fillies, there's no one in the class of Rachel Alexandra. This Kentucky Oaks performance was truly one for the ages.
There's no question, Todd. This performance visually explains her domination over her peer group, the 3-year-old filly group. She is 20 lengths better than the rest of her 3-year-olds all across the country. I mean, look at this. This was an unbelievable unbelievable performance, and many said that day, had she had run in the Kentucky Derby the following day, she probably would have beaten the boys then.
You hear it oftentimes in other professional sports that the game is literally won before they step on the field because of the intimidation factor. That's why you get a small field in the Mother Goose. The Mother Goose is certainly a race that a lot of trainers point their 3-year-old fillies towards, but no one wants to point towards a race that Rachel Alexandra is in.
No, you don't want to run, you know, your filly to run their heart out and run a disappointing 4th or 5th in a 5-horse field. Fortunately for the contestants that remain, there are 2 other runners here. They're going to get that all-important Grade 1 placing, which is very, very valuable when these fillies go into their second career as broodmares later on down the line.
Rachel Alexandra coming up on the East Coast. As we mentioned, right here where we are on the West Coast, Zenyatta coming up. There were 7 that were supposed to line up against her. This race has been changed a little bit by scratches, and certainly tactically this race has changed dramatically with the scratches of the 2 You Lift Me Up and the 3 Forest Melody.
Yeah, why do they scratch for the novice viewer? You enter 2 days before the race, Todd, and you're hoping, unfortunately for Zenyatta, that something might happen. You want to be in just in case. Nothing's going to happen there, so 2 scratches. The pace scenario completely shaken up now, and Breecat at 15-1. She's undefeated here at Hollywood Park. She appears to be the controlling pace.
But we look east to Rachel Alexandra. She is at Belmont Park for the Mother Goose. When we return, the focus on girl power and the 1-9 Rachel Alexandra. All ahead right here on America's Horse Racing Network, TVG.
For the first time ever, order Breeders' Cup World Championship tickets online. Oak Tree at Santa Anita, November 6th and 7th. Is worth over $25 million. Go to breederscup.com/tickets or call 1-877-TICKS-FOR-CUP.
Grade 1 winner at 2, Classic winner at 3. Birdstone, the only freshman sire to have 3 graded stakes winners and a first crop champion in 2008.
And a spectacular upset. Mind That Bird has won the Kentucky Derby.
Sire of Kentucky Derby winner Mind That Bird. Birdstone, 2008 top 10 freshman sire. One of every 2 first crop runners are winners. Birdstone at Gainesway. Power, passion, performance.
Exclusive racing from Japan. Watch and wager on the Grade 1 Takarazuka Kinen from Hanshin Racecourse. Go to TVG.com or DRF.com for free PPs. And catch Japan racing late tonight, 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific.
Your success in breeding, racing, and selling horses requires timely and accurate information. And there's only one way to be sure you have that information: with the portfolio service on equineline.com. Within your personal portfolio, equineline.com will keep you continually updated on the latest racing and sales information, plus accurate and updated catalog-style pedigrees. It's the best way to manage your horse interests. equineline.com.
It's been 10 years of great stories on TVG. What's yours? We'd like to show it on air. Tell us the story of your favorite TVG experience. Post your brief My TVG story on YouTube. Then send the link to mail@tvg.com. Make sure to put My TVG story in the subject line. Then mail us a non-returnable DVD of your clip, and if we use it on air, you'll get a free gift. Let's hear from you. My TVG story submission details are at tvg.com.
Stay on top of the game with Equibase Virtual Stable. Get free daily updates delivered right to your inbox. Virtual Stable from Equibase. Never miss another opportunity.
Welcome back. We continue. 2 of the best thoroughbreds in North America. They are running 3 time zones apart and 2,500 miles separating them, and this is possibly as close as they will ever get. Or is it? Let's worry about that later. Let's enjoy them as individuals right now, as the crowd is on hand to watch the super filly that is Rachel Alexandra, fresh off of her victory in the Preakness, beating the boys. Now she looks to become the first filly in the history of Triple Crown racing to come off the victory of beating boys and win the very next start. It's been tough to do because it takes so much out of you.
It is a phenomenal stat. I was not aware of that until we started talking about it before this show. I don't think it applies to her today, but it is bucking history, and Rachel Alexandra is all about that, beating historical trends.
There's no question about it. She did that in the Preakness last time out. The one chink in her armor, if you really want to look and delve deep, is the 1 turn mile. That was her last defeat. All 6 of her wins have come around 2 turns. It won't be a problem today, though.
We're coming up towards the Mother Goose, but by the way, back here at Hollywood Park in race number 3, which was a race that precedes Zenyatta in the Vanity, it was the 6 on top. That is Threat, and I do believe it was 6-3-4 if you're playing with us at TVG.com, 6-3-4. Now, we transition back into what's happening in New York and what's happening here as we continue with this Girl Power Hour. It's all about our Saturday Spotlight race. Well, it's not all about that because we've got Rachel coming up, but your headliner is the undefeated Zenyatta. She is 10 for 10. She is a perfect 10, or as our colleague Nick Hines said, she's perfect Zen. Is that what he's calling her?
Yeah, and that is very apt. Keep in mind, with these two horses, Zenyatta and Rachel Alexandra being the best in the country, that means they're trying to get to the end of the year and receive the highest honor we have in American racing. That is an Eclipse Award as Horse of the Year. So it is very important every time they step on the racetrack that they win. There is no room for error. There's a lot on the line for each of these female race horses every time they go to the gate.
It is now time for our OCD Post Parade. OCD Pellets. OCDpellets.com. Build stronger bone. We begin this 53rd running of the Mother Goose with the belle of the ball. Rachel Alexandra, you're absolutely overwhelming, dominant favorite.
Yeah, 1-9 here. Calvin Burrell, he had some bittersweet memories of Belmont. Just imagine 6 weeks ago he was here with Mind That Bird under disappointing conditions. Hopefully he can turn it around today. She looks absolutely phenomenal. Trainer Steve Asmussen said after the Preakness she suffered some effects from the heat that evening. She's had 6 weeks to get over it. She's a picture on the racetrack.
If you look at the 3 horses that are in the Mother Goose, they all have the same running style. They like to get out to the lead. Malibu Prayer was a winner last time out of Philadelphia Park against entry-level allowance. The 5 Flashing, though, has some legitimate quality about her. She's got a 3-race win streak, and she went out of optional claiming company to win the Grade 3 Nassau County last time out.
Yeah, that was a very good performance, and after seeing that, Godolphin said, you know what, Tom Albertrani, thanks for your help, but she's coming into our stable now of Godolphin, Saeed bin Surur. When they have a good one, that's where they like to bring them. For the newer viewers out there listening, they like to put them in those blue silks of the Godolphin stable.
Now, I am not trying to find reasons for Rachel to get beat. I'm just like everyone else in the country. I want to see her continue to do what she has done. But you're right, Simon. There are some things she'll have to overcome in this race. That one-turn mile being, or that one turn there being the first thing. And also the horses to the outside, they may not be classy enough, but the speed they possess and the natural speed they have, that could cause a problem for her early on. Yes or no?
Well, yeah, I think her class. I mean, the thing here, the one-turn mile, they're going to go a little quicker, 3 horses or not, than a 2-turn race. Just by definition, you slow up going into that first turn. So the pace is going to be a little quicker down the backside. It's a new dimension, but when you're on 20 lengths the best, I don't think it matters. And I think she's a rateable filly. She doesn't have to go to the lead.
And let's be clear, it's a 1-turn mile and an 8th. A lot's going to happen over the course of this. And she's won from distances ranging from 6 furlongs all the way to a mile and 3/16. There really are no weaknesses that we've seen to date in Rachel Alexandra.
She will be taking on some fillies just trying to make a name for themselves. Of course, they can make a serious name if they are able to upset Rachel in this event. There is the 5 that is Flashing to the outside. Does not have any experience going this far. Is that going to be her undoing, or just she's already up against it, having to run against Rachel?
Looking at the pedigree, the distance is not going to be an issue. If this were a normal race, so to speak, without the presence of Rachel Alexandra, Flashing is a daughter of AP Indy out of a Machiavellian mare. I'd imagine they've always had expectations she'd be better as she goes long.
2,500 miles away from Belmont Park is Hollywood Park, and Queen Zenyatta has made an appearance. And she will begin to do this lovely little dance she does before every single start as she gets a little nervous, a little anxious, a little excited, maybe even a little insecure before she actually gets set to go onto the track to run.
Yeah, she knows it's game time. It's like a boxer coming into the ring. She'll be on her toes. She wants to. You want to see probably just a little bit of, you know, life in her. You don't want to see her walking around with her head down. And that's what you'll see in a minute when they put the saddle on. Good horses do it. I've been around many good horses that when they put the tack on, they know it's game time.
My lasting image before the Milady is when she came out on the track, tack on, rider on, and the rest of it, and she kept pawing at the ground. It kind of reminded me of, say, Mike Tyson when he was at the height of his powers. He'd come in the ring and he'd just kind of roll his neck around. It's like, I am going to knock you out. and Zenyatta does the same thing. She just kind of paws at the ground and almost puts fear in her competition.
Yeah, the knockout punch she delivers is right there. It's her physical prowess. I mean, she just stands, towers over the rest of the field. It's unbelievable when you look at her compared to some of the other fillies she's been running against. I mean, it looks like a mare and a foal next to each other.
Well, the same could be said of Rachel Alexandra. Physically, she is imposing. She literally towers over her competition like Zenyatta does.
But she doesn't appear to have that intimidating personality that Zenyatta has. She will stop and look at everything that's happening around her and eyeball the competition. Rachel kind of keeps more to herself and just goes out there and dominates you on the track. Zenyatta appears to intimidate before you even get to the gate.
Yeah, two totally different personalities. I mean, but the results are the same, and what's in the,
Yes.
the tank is the same. And I think, you know, that physical prowess that both of them have is the reason why they can hold up to these campaigns and that you even think about taking on the boys. I bet you that had a lot to do with Steve Asmussen and Jess Jackson's decision about taking on the boys, is the fact that physically they think she could handle it.
When they break out of the gate, they're opposite as far as personalities. Zenyatta's going to sit at the back and then make that devastating move on the far turn. Rachel Alexandra, on the other hand, is very aggressive in the early stages of her race.
Contrasting running styles, totally, and that's you know, that kind of goes with their personalities. As you know, a little more on her toes is Rachel Alexandra sometimes, and she's just a little more aggressive, whereas Zenyatta sits back there with that long stride and picks up her foes late.
As you take a look at both the top filly and mare runners in the country, Zenyatta on the left-hand side of your screen, still 20 minutes to post for her next event in the Vanity today at Hollywood Park. You saw Rachel was on the right-hand side. Now we focus on Rachel as they close in on 3 minutes to post to today's running of the Mother Goose. And you guys were talking about how great disparity there is in their running styles. That's what makes the matchup so intriguing if they were to meet, because something would have to give. The speed of Rachel would have to give to Zenyatta, or she might get away from a closer like Zenyatta.
And when you look at what Zenyatta has in front of her today, this will be a real test for looking down the line if these two were to meet, because after the scratches here in the Vanity, you really do have kind of a lone speed horse in Brecat. She's not the quality of Rachel Alexandra, I'll grant that.
But the setup is the same.
Yeah, the setup is the same,
Yes.
and the weight is going to be more of an issue. When you look at these two races today, it's not just the size of the fields that separates the obstacles that are before both horses here today. It's the weight factor. In the Mother Goose, all three entrants will carry the same weight, 121 pounds. It's the exact opposite here in the Vanity. Zenyatta, because of her dominance, carries the high weight in here. It's a handicap, and so she's spotting some of her rivals up to 16 pounds.
Yeah, that's incredible. When you talk about that in the horse racing terms, that's a huge amount of weight to carry, and that goes back to the size of her. I think that's why John Sheriff selects to run her here, because physically she can carry that 16 pounds that she's spotting to some of her rivals. For our Fox viewers, why do they write handicap races? It's to make it a level playing field. The object here is to try and get all the runners to cross the wire at the same time, like a dead heat. That's why you handicap them, and basically she's given up, I would think, about 8 or 9 lengths to the rest of the field as far as the weight she's carrying.
If it was a handicap race, the Mother Goose, and they did the weight that way, to put it in perspective, Rachel Alexandra would be spotting these horses maybe 20 to 30 pounds.
That's exactly right.
But
No
instead
question about
she
it.
gets them at level weights.
Yeah, and it's unfair for the other two, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the classification of the 3-year-old division, especially in a race like this, restricted just to 3-year-old fillies. It's not a handicap, as you mentioned, so you do not penalize the horse that is obviously the favorite and the one to beat.
And let's put the 1 to 9 in perspective from a wagering point of view with Rachel Alexandra. Essentially, the number on the right is how much you have to invest to make the profit on the left. So in other words, you have to bet 9 to win on Rachel Alexandra to get $10 back. For every 9 you bet to win, you're going to make a profit of $1. It is very rare in this sport that you see a 1 to 9 favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen hardly ever at all. And I mean, why is this happening? A, because of her dominance, and B, because it's a small field. But you know, I think sometimes it's just nice to sit back and watch the event, just witness greatness going into the gate here with Rachel Alexandra.
Yeah, this is the kind of race where really the only number on the screen that matters is the number 3. And that's the number that Rachel Alexandra runs with today. Even the final time is really not much concern to the connections. I just want to see her go around nice and easy and do what it is that she does best, dominate the competition. She will have a chance to do this right now and buck a trend. As we mentioned earlier, the first filly to win a Triple Crown race and then win the next one after that. Fillies who have beaten the boys, it's taken so much out of them, they have not been able to come back and duplicate that performance. Rachel has a chance to buck that trend here in the 53rd running of this Grade 1 Mother Goose at 1 1/8 miles, live from Belmont Park. She will continue to up the ante for Zenyatta if she once again runs the way we expect her to. And anytime you are stepping up against a monster like this, there are going to be some nerves, and Malibu Prayer exhibiting those nerves right now.
I'd be backing out of there too if I saw Rachel Alexandra in the gate as well. I think fear factor's coming into play here.
Here's how you have to look at these next two races. Rachel Alexandra gets to make the first statement here. Think of it as a debate. The response is going to come from Zenyatta and the Vanity to follow.
Point, counterpoint, punch, counterpunch. Here it comes. The first of our two girl power events, Rachel Alexandra, live from Belmont.
And they're off. It was an alert beginning for Rachel Alexandra on the inside, way out there, flashing. And in between those two, it's going to be Malibu Prayer to grab a short early lead. So they cross over onto the main course here. They're moving at a pretty good clip, it appears, with Malibu Prayer, and on the outside, flushing. Rachel Alexandra will have to do it from just off the pace today. So down the backstretch run. The opening quarter, oh, it was quick. 22 2/5 seconds. So they're moving right along here. Undaunted, Malibu Prayer and Flushing. They're going at a good pace here. Now they're 4.5 lengths away from Rachel Alexandra. Down the backstretch run. Interestingly, it is Malibu Prayer, the leader. Flashing second. Here's that half. 44 3/5 seconds. A very ambitious race being run by Malibu Prayer. An enterprising race, too, from Flashing. And Rachel Alexandra just looms in behind them now, and she's ready to pounce. And there she goes now, taking to the outside as they round the far turn. A grueling pace for Malibu Prayer and Flashing. They're still head-to-head for the lead. 2 lengths behind them looms the Preakness winner, Rachel Alexandra. There she goes. There she goes in between horses, and with a decisive thrust, it's Rachel Alexandra to the lead, and now they're turning it on. Calvin Burrell cuts his filly loose, and she's pouring it on in a dazzling display here. Nothing left for the other two. Coming down to the final 16th of a mile, her march to greatness continues. Rachel Alexandra wins eased. Again, a huge margin. It was almost 20 lengths again. The time was 1:46 1/5 seconds, and that's a new stakes record.
Oh, yes. Everything we thought she would be, and then some. Rachel Alexandra, just unbelievably beautiful, sublime performance, if you will, as she shatters the stakes record in the Grade 1 Mother Goose.
Her only two rivals are doing everything they can. At the same time, though, they're also dueling each other into submission.
They certainly are. They're not helping each other out. All they're doing is helping the beast that's coming in from off the pace, and that's Rachel Alexandra. I really believe that Calvin Burrell had to learn from his experience with Mind That Bird in the Belmont about moving too soon. He didn't do that today, although the front runners did back up fairly quickly. And what is impressive here is not only the winning margin by 20+ lengths, but the final time, Todd. She's being geared down. To put it in general terms, she's gone from 5th gear down to 1st right now, and she's breaking a track record as she does it. Unbelievable performance.
Doesn't matter who she's running against. She runs her own race, and she towers over the competition. She doesn't run down to the competition. She goes out there and does what she does every single time with ease, and it just happens to be unbelievable each time she steps out. And Calvin Burrell, once again, he is undefeated with her. They are 7 for 7 together, and this is a perfect jockey-filly combination.
You heard in the call by Tom Durkin, it's a new stakes record in 1:46 1. Who holds the track record at 1:45 2? The Immortal Secretariat. And keep in mind, she's 4/5 of a second off that track record by winning by 20 and not running for the final 110 yards, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, she basically Usain Bolt in the Olympics, 100 meters, where he geared down and didn't break a world record that day. But this was a great performance. Jess Jackson, Steve Asmussen, great training job, and the Susan B. G. Komen Foundation will benefit. They're going to get a share of this purse, thankfully, to the owners that are going to donate to that breast cancer cause there. So a win-win for everybody here, and just great to see this filly back on the track.
Absolutely, Simon. It's a beautiful cause, and this performance making everyone happy, all the racing fans, and, of course, supporting that community as well. It is now gone official. Rachel has laid down the gauntlet, as you say, Todd. She has thrown out the first barb, and now it is Zenyatta's turn to return serve.
You have 12 minutes to respond, Zenyatta.
Yeah, that's right.
Green light is on.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're on the
It's a
clock.
debate. Who's the best horse in America? Rachel Alexandra has now laid her claim. Zenyatta's got to have a good response here in the Vanity.
And now she begins her show. She was in the dressing room. She has just been given word that the super filly on the other side of the country has just once again made her claim as the best horse in North America. Zenyatta does what she does in the previous 10 starts. She gets geared up, gets her game face on, and gets ready to go out there and once again prove her dominance.
You can see the difference between what we saw 5 minutes ago without the tack on, and now she's on her toes. It's Todd's boxing analogy. She's been in the changing room. Now they've strapped the hands up, they've put the gloves on, and got the Vaseline on the eyes. She is ready to go out to the ring and lay down a challenge here.
Here comes her best friend, her only rider she's ever known. Actually, the second of the 2 riders she's ever known. I keep forgetting that David Flores is the man who helped her out in the first 3 starts of her career, and David gets a lot of credit for helping to take care of her as a young developing filly. But now Mike Smith is the man with Zenyatta, and together they look to continue their march towards history, continuing to become another undefeated runner. Do you think there is a chance of them running enough to eclipse the mark? Is it Pepper's Pride?
Yeah.
Consecutive victories at 19. Did they get to 19 in a row?
Well, here's the mystery to all of this is that the connections of Zenyatta has said the rest of the year will not be plotted out until we have the Vanity. So again, there's probably not the possibility she comes back as a 6-year-old next year. But as far as what remains this year, how many starts, we will not know until after the Vanity.
Yeah, and I think it all depends on how she runs today. And one thing we know about her owner, Jerry Moss there, those familiar silks, he's game. He's a former chairman and owner of A&M Records, and you know, he's game for a challenge. So be interesting to get his comments, hopefully after this race, should she win in impressive fashion, and see where they're going to go.
Now, the race complexion is going to be entirely different. You had a situation in the Mother Goose where you had 2 horses dueling themselves, as you mentioned, Todd, into submission, which set it up quite easily for Rachel to do what she was going to do anyway. You don't have that situation or that scenario here for Zenyatta. There's really only one horse that can get loose, and there's really not much in this field that can put any pressure on Brecat.
Brecat, make no mistake, is a quality filly. Is she the quality of Zenyatta? No. But that's what the handicap is about, the weight difference. She is going to get today 15 pounds from Zenyatta. In Brecat, she's 2 for 2 here at Hollywood Park, and it looks like Vladimir Surin has gone out of his way to bring her up to this race, much like he did previously when she won the Bayakoa handicap here last December. A grade 2 over this racetrack. He ran her on the turf first. Brecat is coming off a turf race. She got favorable scratches with the 2 and the 3, and with that weight difference, Brecat will be a serious factor here.
Certainly. I mean, she likes this track just as much as Zenyatta. She's undefeated here in 2 starts, and I think that 15 pounds is very, very key. At this 1.125 distance, it equates to 2 pounds is a length, so she's given up basically 7 or 8 lengths to Brecat here.
You see Hall of Fame rider Mike Smith with a huge smile on his face. Normally jockeys are not this relaxed before a big grade 1 event, but look at what he's sitting on top of. He's sitting on top of the undefeated daughter of Street Cry and Zenyatta, who's earned more than $2.2 million, and she has overcome adversity from beginning to end. There's no doubt that she'll be able to overcome what could be a disadvantageous pace scenario for her.
That's right, and you got to remember, Mike Smith has ridden some of the best fillies in the world, Ken. Inside Information, the largest winner of a Breeders' Cup race, period. Azeri won this race twice for trainer Laura DeSaru and the Alan Paulson Living Trust. So he's certainly got experience with good fillies, and he ranks this mare as arguably the best he's ever ridden.
She will have another chance to prove Mike Smith to be a prophet here in this grade 1 Vanity. Her silks are painted out there in the winner's circle for winning this race last year, and they'll try and do it again here today. Right now we are set for the OCD Pellets Post Parade. OCDpellets.com. Build stronger bone. We are now ready for the post parade for today's 68th running of the grade 1 Vanity Handicap.
Dawn after dawn, we'll start off our post parade here at odds of 19-1, and you may want to make note of the rider here, Garrett Gomez. He tried everything he could last time out in the Milady to beat Zenyatta with Life is Sweet. In the end, had to settle for second, but he is very familiar with Zenyatta.
Problem is, the last time Dawn After Dawn faced Zenyatta, she was beaten 20 3/4 lengths at Del Mar last year. You got to remember, outside of Zenyatta, a lot of these other connections are just looking for a second or third place finish finish. That all-important Grade 1 placing. As Patrick Biancone said earlier this week, the trainer of the 7, there are 2 races. The race that Zenyatta is probably going to win here, and the race for 2nd and 3rd that the rest of us are competing for.
Here we go. And there she is. If there is any way to think there's a challenge, you have to go back and look, and her shortest or smallest margin of victory came in winning this race last year by just a half of a length. Dawn after dawn, we'll start the proceedings. Garrett Gomez for John Sadler.
As far as her tactical style, I think from the rail, Garrett Gomez will probably concede the lead to Bricat, but try and sit in that 2nd flight. Zenyatta, we expect, is going to be far back, obviously, in the early stages. Scratch the 2, You Lift Me Up. Scratch the 3, Forest Melody.
Here's Hot and Dusty, who is ultra consistent. She's had 3 wins, 6 seconds, and 2/3 against much weaker competition. Good luck to her. They'll be happy if she just runs 3rd in here.
Modification coming out of the Grade 1 Gamely on the turf, back to the main track. Just 3 starts ago, she was 5th behind Life is Sweet, beaten nearly 9 lengths. That is a horse that Zenyatta conquered with stunning ease last out.
Bricat has 5 career victories. 2 of those wins have come here at Hollywood Park. She's undefeated on this surface. She will be the leader from the get-go. She will try and take him gate to wire.
All I can say is Wow is the 2nd choice in the wagering. She made quite an impression in her U.S. debut, overcoming a lot of trouble to win, so they threw her in the Grade 2 Milady last time out. She was 3rd, beaten 2.5 by Zenyatta.
And there is the mother of the older filly mare division in the country right now, Zenyatta, the reigning champ, 10 for 10. She carried 124 pounds in this race last year, 129 pounds. And as she's been announced in the post-parade, I got to say, people on track here giving a warm round of applause for Mike Smith and Zenyatta.
There she is. 6 minutes to post for this event. Now, we've been talking about this all day, and it is actually a very, very important factor in determining the outcome of this race. It's all about the weight.
Yeah, imagine a track and field event where the best runner had to wait until everyone else had started their race. That's what the handicap essentially does. Zenyatta carries 129 pounds. Take, for example, Dawn After Dawn. She carries 116. Difference of 13 pounds. That means a 6.5 length head start, essentially, for Dawn After Dawn. Now, let's look closer at Bricat.
Yep.
Bricat is getting a 7.5 length difference here. So essentially, if Bricat opens up, say, 5 lengths on Zenyatta in the early stages, she's almost 13 lengths ahead.
Yes, it's unbelievable. I mean, she'll have a 13-length advantage as far as the handicapping books go. But Zenyatta, she deserves to carry high weight here. It'll probably be the last time we see her in a handicap. I mean, because if she wins today, she'll be carrying upwards of 130, 131. But that is the premise of the handicap and why we do it. It's to make the playing level equal and fair for everybody. The object of Martin Panzer, the racing secretary here, is to get all of the runners to cross the wire at the same time.
And this changes, considering the distance. In this case, because we're going 9 furlongs, it is accepted that 2 pounds equal 1 length.
Now we move to our DRF keys to the race. The Grade 1 of Vanity Handicap. You start with speed figures, guys, and of course, Zenyatta has been rather consistent, especially in her last 4 outings, averaging, looks like, I'm going to say it's an average of, what, about 104 Beyer each time out?
And no one in this field has gone to a triple-digit Beyer speed figure. The closest was Bricat in that Bayakoa win we were talking about, where she had a Beyer speed figure of 99.
Yeah, at this track and distance. And you see Bricat here is 2 for 2. She's the field's only other multiple winner over the Hollywood Park cushion track. And Zenyatta, of course, 5 for 5 here.
John Sheriff's looking to join some very special company. He would join Hall of Famers Ron McAnally, Charlie Whittingham, and Neil Drysdale as the only trainers to win this Vanity 4 times. And he can do it with a victory from Zenyatta today. He is truly a man of the people. He likes to watch right there on the rail next to all the people and get a nice spot and relax and watch his great mare run. As we get set for this event, our own Mike Valpredo caught up with Hall of Fame rider Mike Smith earlier to talk about this next challenge facing the champion.
Well, even for riders like Mike Smith, who have had all the big days in racing, one like this, a handful every year that you get to come out and ride a real superstar. How was today different for you, Mike?
Well, you're getting to ride Zenyatta. I mean, it's totally different than any other day. I mean, you're riding probably the most talented horse that we've seen in a long time come around. So it's a very exciting day for me.
As you look back, and you guys have been together for all the victories, and you get ready for today, it's very similar to the campaign you had last year. What really needs to happen outside of the strategy of the race for you to know that she is who Zenyatta has been?
Well, I think she kind of showed that last time out. She came back. She seemed to be even stronger than last year, which is pretty incredible to say. But she seemed to be, and she's training very well. And she just needs to go out there and get the opportunity to run her race. If that happens, I think you'll see something special again today.
You're in here. Mike Smith and Zenyatta once again looking to accept all challengers today and run that record to 11 consecutive victories. She's doing it again. She's going through her pre-race antics, a crowd pleaser no matter where she goes, but this is her home. This is her track. And so she seems to be much more comfortable here.
Yeah, it certainly is. She's based here year-round, and all she has to do is walk over from the stable area here. It's very comfortable for her here. Fans have come out in their droves to applaud her on. We saw some of the signs earlier. Zenyatta for governor. Right now, I echo that in this state.
Or the very simply stated, Zenyatta rocks.
Yep.
Yes, she does. And her Hall of Fame rider look to move on through and answer. It's call and response time.
Yep.
Rachel Alexandra has called now. Zenyatta must respond, although her task is a bit more difficult than the one that faced Rachel today in New York.
And think about last year. We were talking about the Eclipse Awards. Zenyatta was a finalist for Horse of the Year against Curlin, owned by Jess Jackson. The owner of Rachel Alexandra, as we talked about, is Jess Jackson. So these same two camps find themselves, albeit with different horses in the Jess Jackson camp, in the same position, vying for Horse of the Year. Curlin won the battle last year, but now this is a true battle on with Zenyatta and Rachel Alexandra.
And there's no question, and they're two owners that are very, very powerful, very respected in their professions. As we mentioned, Jerry Moss, former owner and CEO of AMM Records, Jess Jackson, of course, of the famed Kendall Jackson Winery. Here, the thing with Zenyatta we're talking about, Rachel Alexandra, if there was no pace at Belmont, guys, she could have made her own pace. Here, they're not going to change the running style of Zenyatta, regardless of what Bricat does or doesn't do up on the front end.
There is a contender to the inside, and you know, you have to think that what Garrett Gomez tried to do last time out with Life is Sweet in the Milady, maybe he'll try here with Dawn After Dawn. Although Dawn After Dawn appears that she wants to be involved early on.
I think she has the ability to sit just off the leaders, and that would be her best chance here.
Back to the focus of all the attention as she continues to work it out, and she's starting to get attuned to what's happening now, guys. You can see she's starting to change her demeanor. Her behavior is starting to become a bit more serious, a bit more focused.
You can see her head is up. She's more alert. Her ears are forward. That shows where she's looking and listening and just paying attention to the crowd. As the starting gate is right behind our set here. A lot of the fans come out on the apron to witness the horses loading into the gate.
My heart rate's gone up, and I've got sweaty palms, and I'm just watching the race.
I know. Imagine what John Sheriff's is like right now.
The question is, what will she do? Will she simply just dominate the field like she always does, or will she push for something more? Will she push to break the stakes record here at Hollywood Park? 146-1 for this 1 1/8 distance set back in 1984. There they go into the gate. Vic Stauffer has the call, the headliner in our Girl Power Hour, Zenyatta in the Grade 1 Vanity.
They're off. Good start. Bricat is asked for speed, and she goes to the front from Dawn After Dawn, and All I Can Say Is Wow away second and third. Hot and Dusty comes away fourth. Zenyatta's fifth in the early running, and the early trailer is Modification. It will be Bricat at the clubhouse turn, and she'll set the pace. Not going that fast to the backstretch. Bricat leads by a length and 3/4 from All I Can Say Is Wow in second. Dawn After Dawn stays at the rail. She's third and about 3 from the front. Hot and Dusty has 4.5 to make up. Defending champion Zenyatta is second to last. She is fifth with about 8 lengths to close, and Modification is at the back of the pack as they turn into the backstretch in the 69th Vanity Handicap, and Bricat is doing it smoothly. Bricat is the leader. All I Can Say Is Wow stays after her in second. Bricat passes the 5 furlong marker with a length and 1/4 on All I Can Say Is Wow in second. Dawn After Dawn going to angle off the rail for a clear run. She's third and 3 from the front. Hot and Dusty and Zenyatta are now together fourth and fifth. Zenyatta is about 6 lengths behind. She's 5 in front of Modification. They leave the backstretch, and Bricat tries to steal away. Bricat is now 2.5 lengths in front of All I Can Say Is Wow in second. Dawn After Dawn is 3 from the front. Zenyatta is now pushed along. She's got 5 lengths to make up. Hot and Dusty inside of her. Modification at the back of the pack, and Bricat is confronted by Dawn After Dawn. Here comes Zenyatta in the center of the racetrack, and she's 2.5 lengths from the lead, but but gotta go past mid-stretch. Dawn After Dawn has the lead. Briquette runs her heart out. Now Zenyatta's kicked into gear, and here she comes, right on by. Zenyatta suddenly 2 in front. Here's the real Zen Master, and she's won 11! Zenyatta wins the 69th Vanity. Briquette battled back. Dawn After Dawn was next.
She did it again. It looked like she was going to be running uphill, turning for home. The speed dug in and tried to fend her off. But right there, the joy and the emotion of knowing you've got the best mare on the planet. They can't beat you no matter what they do. Zenyatta, 11 for 11. Outstanding job for the Mosses and Mr. Sheriff and Mike Smith.
And the big question today was, as she carried the heaviest weight of her career, how would it affect her? And you started to wonder a little bit at the top of the stretch, but once she gets going, there's no one who can stand in her way, regardless of the impost aboard her.
There's absolutely not, and John Sheriff's got to be very, very relieved there coming back to the winner's circle. And yeah, it looked like for a while there she was just going up and down, but Mike Smith never really asked her from the 5/16 pole home.
Mike Valpredo, what's the man going to say now?
Well, we have to ask him, John, congratulations. How impressed are you by this performance, considering the weight and considering everything you've done to get here?
You know, she's just amazing. You know, we're all talking about, you know, she's just an amazing racehorse, and, you know, I think she's, you know, really coming into her form now.
All of the applause, the people standing, saluting you, high-fiving, making signs in the paddock. Have you seen anything like this, and how much greater does it make the taste of success?
You know, it's wonderful that other people appreciate it, and having a fan base like this for Zenyatta is just a thrill to be around her.
Were you worried at all? Because she definitely had a challenge with that weight, and they knew what they wanted to do tactically to try to take this away from her.
Yeah, you know, I have a lot of confidence in Mike Smith and obviously Zenyatta, and they're such a good team together that, you know, when she hits her stride, she covers a lot of ground.
We have to tell you, if you didn't know already, Rachel Alexandra won by 20 lengths, but I bet you're more excited about this.
Well, yes, obviously, yeah.
Questions for another day, guy. Right now, a huge salute to the champion Zenyatta, jockey Mike Smith, and the winning connections once again.
Thank you so much, Mike Valpredo. I mean, you know, John Sheriff's probably watched what Rachel did, and he's very well aware of what she's capable of, but he's more than happy with the one he's got in his deck.
And let's pick up the action on the far turn. This is where she makes her usual winning move.
It certainly is, and you can see Mike Smith got her to the outside. As we talk through this replay, she is coming back to the winner's circle and just getting an astounding round of applause here. Let's listen into the crowd as Zenyatta returns to the winner's circle. And the applause was happening down the stretch here in this during the running of this race, and she really doesn't hit her stride here until about the last 16th of a mile. That's when she really puts her opposition away. Mike puts the whip away. Very impressive.
I got to tell you something. As she comes back to the winner's circle, this is where the Mosses get it. On their way down, Mrs. Moss looked at 2 of the Zenyatta sign holders and said, "You come with us to the winner's circle." How often do fans get picked out of the crowd to go down onto the playing field? It doesn't happen, only in horse racing, and it happens because of the Mosses. When Zenyatta comes into the winner's circle, 2 of her fans here at Hollywood Park with their signs are going to be there for her winner's picture.
That's why you need to get into this sport, because I've tried that at the Laker games, Ken, for the last 10 years. I never got called down to the floor by Phil Jackson. That's why this sport is great. You can be part of it, and I'm just so glad that Zenyatta has done it again today. 11 for 11.
She is truly an amazing vision to watch, and she knows. And it's one of those things that I find to be just so interesting and compelling, how a horse just knows. And she knows exactly what's happening from beginning to end. And her personality is so outrageous. It changes every minute leading up to a race, and then it changes right when she gets to the winner's circle. She knows, I'm supposed to go to that circle where the grass is. That's mine. That's my house.
It's cliche, Ken, but the good ones have that personality. You hear it from trainers time and time again. There is the ownership group of Jerry and Ann Moss, and they've been inviting people into the winner's circle. You see the signs there?
There's the sign, Todd.
Yeah.
You're talking both of them.
Zenyatta for governor, Zenyatta for rocks. So that's the reason to come out to the track on days like this.
What a phenomenal gesture.
And
just 2 fans showed up to cheer Zenyatta. Could they have imagined they're going to end up in the winner's circle? What a thrill.
And get themselves a copy of the picture.
That's right.
And it is a beautiful thing. I have to say, I was invited to the winner's circle in the San Diego at Del Mar with the Mosses and get the picture, and then they provided the picture for me. They sent it to my house because they're just like that. They said, you want to have this keepsake because you don't get a chance to go into the winner's circle for a graded stakes event with champions like these.
There is Jerry and Ann Moss, and they've put so much into the sport over the years, and been involved with John Sheriffs and John Sadler. Let's listen into the applause as she enters the winner's circle.
There are times in this sport where a 2-length win is as good as a 20-length win. This is one of those times. To the casual observer, they're going to look at the 20-length margin by Rachel Alexandra, consider her the super filly unbeatable. But I'm telling you, Zenyatta's performance with this winning margin, just as impressive.
Exactly, and this debate is not over, Ken. I think we've got a draw. It's 1-1 right now. Let's move on to the next debate, round 2, somewhere on down the line.
No matter what happens on November the 6th and the 7th in Southern California, drink it in right now. This hour that we've been able to bring you here on TVG, America's Horse Racing Network, brought you the 2 best horses in this country, the 2 best that we can offer, and they completely rose to the occasion. They gave us everything we wanted and then some. I've always wondered what happens now for the champion. When she goes back, is she comfortable being back in the stable? Does she want to go around again? What happens when you bring them back after a race like this, Simon?
They go back to the stable and they relax. They're thankful to go back, rest up for a couple of days, get fed, have some water, get massaged on, get looked after.
The late Gene Klein, who used to own the San Diego Chargers and was a big thoroughbred owner, said that's what he loved about thoroughbred racing. His champions didn't ask for a new contract. They would go back to the barn and just wanted some oats.
That's all they want is a carrot.
And that man right there just wants another chance to ride her. Looking forward to the next time for Mike Smith and Zenyatta to get together. And that's going to be the topic of discussion coming up very soon. What is next for the undefeated 11 for 11 Zenyatta, the reigning champion in that division? And what's next for the super filly Rachel Alexandra? We'll discuss as we continue with Girl Power Hour right after this. And this is how it happened. Rachel Alexandra with 2 fillies just dueling like crazy on the front end, swoops on through. Calvin Burrell, just for dramatics, decides to split horses in a race with only 3 and goes on to shatter a stakes record.
The only question is he had to figure out when he was going to put up the number 1 sign.
Right, exactly. Was it the quarter pole, the 8th pole, the 16th pole? Where was he going to do it?
He found the right time to do it, and they continue their dominance together, 7 for 7 together. Calvin Burrell and Rachel Alexandra becoming the first filly to win a Triple Crown race, beating the boys, and then come back to win her very next start. Back here on the left coast, more than 2,500 miles away, Zenyatta continues to assert herself as the best in the country with her 11th consecutive victory.
Yeah, I mean, she's unbelievable. She just covers a lot of ground. It looks like she's going nowhere, and then all of a sudden Mike just taps her on the shoulder and she picks up strides in a matter of seconds. Final time 1:48 and 15/100ths here. Congratulations, John Sheriffs, Mr. and Mrs. Jerry Moss, Mike Smith. Now 11 for 11 is this filly.
So Todd, as we once again compare these 2 runners, has your perception of both of them, your opinion of them changed at all in any way, shape, or form?
No, I want to see them match up. I want them on the racetrack. They're both sensational. Keep in mind, Rachel Alexandra is a 3-year-old filly, Zenyatta a 5-year-old mare. What we're trying to tell you is that Rachel Alexandra still has some maturing to do. She could actually get better. Zenyatta hasn't been tested to the point where we've necessarily seen her best.
I think in 11 races, it's unheard of for a filly we haven't got to the bottom of yet, and that's the case with Zenyatta. Just look at them there. I mean, they don't look like fillies or mares. They look like colts and, contrasting running styles. That's the interesting thing. Should they match up in a match race, just the 2 of them? Clearly, Rachel Alexandra would have a pace advantage over Zenyatta.
But if you're the connections of Rachel Alexandra, don't you want to wait until the latter portion of your 3-year-old campaign when they finally catch up to older horses? You don't want to subject her to that before she gets to maybe October or November.
That's when the matchup's going to happen. It's going to happen in the fall, but Jess Jackson has already said it's not going to happen in California. He's not bringing Rachel Alexandra out here. That was the big news early in the week. He wants it to happen maybe at Belmont Park, which, by the way, I think is a perfect racetrack for Zenyatta and her running style, or what he deems to be a neutral racetrack. Jess Jackson, that is.
Exactly. The discussion is, what's the goal, the match race or the Breeders' Cup? You could have it in the fall and still make the Breeders' Cup, should they so wish.
Now they're